Hello and welcome to TrekPrime, and we are on episode 50. It's been 2 or 3 weeks since we've actually done this, but there was some personal complications that came up that we actually decided that it might be good to take a little summer vacation before our second season. And episode 50 would be, as you said, Jeff, the end of season 1. And we decided to do a recap. Actually, you thought we had to do a recap, and of course I'm going to jump at the chance. Just telling Jeff it's kind of nice to be in command of this little metaphorical starship again. I haven't been wearing the outfit for a while, so neither of you. So it's it's our last little mission before the next 1-year mission of exploring strange new subjects.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in Star Trek. So I thought about calling this TrekPrime a year in review, and we're just going to kind of go down what we've done already and kind of just have some banter about it, right? So I'm going to start from the very beginning. We started with the Universal Translator.
Yep.
We did that together in my living room, just sitting there. And that's just such a weird thing because usually podcasts are done like this, but we were trying to do it in the house, and I've said to you many times, I wish you could redo that because it felt so awkward. You just sitting there having to look over.
Well, it felt like I was at having my picture taken at Walmart. I was afraid to move too far because I didn't.
I got to be in this space,
Yeah, you couldn't you could see where the frame is when we're talking. I know I'm out of frame, but you can't see it because we don't see ourselves on the screen.
Right. So like I said, you're trying to fit me and you into the frame, so it's like, yeah, it's like a Walmart photo booth. So I was trying to get you over to do them for a while, but you said, what, this format isn't happening. Let's try to find another way. So I thought, okay, we'll get Zoom. I asked my friend Jimmy Porto. Yep. Hi there, Jimmy. I know you've been sharing a lot of your little Star Trek jokes and your puppet stuff with me. So thank you for recommending we go back to Zoom and giving me my Zoom. Helping me get my Zoom back together and re-download it so I could use it for this. But we decided to do the Zoom thing. You got an account. And now we're not worried about where's our head going to be. And, that was like, now that I think about it, there was about 3 weeks between that pilot and our first full episode.
Yeah.
We did here. And, due to computer era, I lost the original video for that pilot on my computer.
Oh, really? Oh,
so now I have to use some sort of YouTube downloader to get it back. I lost like the first 7. It's like Doctor Who. I'm sure you've heard about Doctor Who erasing over old tapes of original episodes.
Yeah.
And so I lost some of the early TrekPrime episodes, but I'm gonna get them back because I want to archive these because I want to have the the TrekPrime archive.
Okay.
So the next one we agreed to do 2 ideas.
Okay.
Like you do 1 week, I'd have 1 week to do it.
Yep.
And I think the next one we did, because the first one was my idea, was your idea about families on starships.
Yeah. It's something we kind of talked about a little bit off and on.
Yep. And that was only like 36 minutes long. We didn't do much on that, but but it was our first one we did here. And you were talking about the differences of Star Trek and how they handle things on the military base.
Yeah.
So in a way, that was like our, if you could call the Universal Translator one the cage, and the other one was maybe the man trap or something.
Yeah.
It was our first real one.
Yeah.
We didn't have a second pilot. We just, we had that real episode. So, you have any?
I remember we had some sound difficulties at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. I haven't checked all the videos yet, but I think in the first few episodes, you maxed headroom and glitch. And
yeah, because see, I was doing it before on my laptop. And now I'm using my
laptop.
Yeah, now I'm using my girlfriend's desktop to do these shows now, and it seems to work a lot better here.
Yeah, and I thought it was on my end. And also, I remember one of the issues we also had was that I'd have the speaker feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well, so what I had to do was adjust audio and change certain things.
Yeah.
But, has it ever occurred to you that you might want to go back and redo some of those audio ones that were bad and go back and look at them and redo them sometime?
Maybe at some point we can probably go back and rediscuss some of those.
Yeah, because we did a good job with them. It's just that we'd go, you know, that weird thing
Yeah.
would happen. Mostly on your end because you had that computer that was like it wasn't 5G, wasn't it? It was like a non-5G.
Well, no, on the laptop, 5G won't work on it. It's not that new in the laptop, so I have to use the 2G format.
Yeah. So, would you say that was like the first 10 to 12 episodes we had that issue?
I think it was that. And then I just figured, I said, you know what, I'm going to go on the desktop because it's got way more power than the laptop does, and maybe that'll work a lot better there.
And, you know, I remember episode 8 as being very important because that's where we actually discussed the circuit.
Yeah.
That was a running gag for the whole first season, the detector circuit. We had that in every one for like the first 15 of them, you know. And I said, we'll discuss the circuit because that's a big deal in Star Trek. The circuit we keep hearing randomly used for different purposes, like, check the circuit. There's something new on this detector circuit. And what's the circuit? So we had to discuss that. That was. Do we have audio tips on that one? I don't remember. I have to go back and look at that.
I remember, was it on Balance of Terror when they kept firing phasers, and then Sulu goes, phaser overload, control circuit burnout, you know, and it was right under.
Yeah, you keep thinking Sulu's going to pull out this giant capacitor and have to replace.
It's like, you know, what does Science Station have to do with the phaser control area? I mean, it's like, you know, that was like the weirdest place for a blow up.
I think they were building Star Trek still and building that world. And they were just like, and then Gene and his people were thinking, okay, what does this device do? I mean, well, let's put a circuit. Circuit sounds cool, you know. I think they were building that world, and, you know, they hadn't, you know, I mean, now they might use isolinear thing or whatever, but back then it was circuits and this and that.
You don't see much of those things burning out on new Star Trek shows now.
Two of the favorites that we did was one on racism and prejudice in Star Trek, and your idea of ranks and positions, because, you know, the ranks and positions float around an awful lot, so it was good to kind of talk about those. One episode, and I wanted to thank people for doing this, was our episode on World War III.
Yes. Yeah.
The Third World War that took place in Star Trek. And that was the longest video we had up to that point. It was 3 hours and 26 minutes long.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we went on and on. I remember that night, we started about 9. We went till midnight.
Holy.
As Data would say, we were igniting the midnight petroleum. Wow. We went on, and we kept, you know, it was like a stream of conscious thing. I really enjoyed that one. And we had 453 views on that one. Thank you. Of course, the cover I used was very clickbaity.
Maybe it's because of the subject matter.
Well, when I you know, let's face it. There's a million conspiracy theory YouTubes on video about the Third War. I put that picture of that mushroom cloud over San Francisco. People are like, oh, what am I going to uncover, you know?
Yeah, they want to see it.
And it was a Star Trek video, but people are watching it, and I guess that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I guess.
I got to go into TrekPrime and log into that more and see what the comments are, because it's not my primary channel, so.
Yeah.
I mean, nor is it yours. It's just because you have your own videos on your channel, and I have my own. And all right, the next one was also, it was unfortunately very short, the 34-minute one. It was our one with Stewart, Captain Foley.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then they cut it off because you have to, if you have 3 people, you have to subscribe to make longer videos.
That's right, yeah.
And I wanted to go on for 3 hours with him, and it's like, cut us off. You know? Because, I mean, we could have gone on forever with Stewart.
That's right.
That could have been our 5 hours. You know, like, okay, it's Jeff's show, it's Andre's show, it's Captain Foley's show, and thank you, Captain Foley, for appearing on the show. We still got you. You know, Season 2's coming up. You know, we still got that thing with you and Samuel. We haven't forgotten about you. We want to make this crossover work. We didn't have that one work out right, but we still want to do something with you. So, Season 2 coming up. That's the one goal I do have, is to do a thing with them.
Yeah.
Try to find a way to do it without having that cut off, because we can't use Zoom. We have to figure out something else. The next one is an interesting one, and I thought the idea was very compelling, and it was the Enterprise as a character in Star Trek. Treating it as a character. That was your idea. And I never thought of the Enterprise as being a character. I just thought of it as being a device. Kind of like Mudd's androids. Of course, I think of Kirk. No, she's a beautiful lady, and we love her, you know?
Yeah. But
you decided to point out the Enterprise as a character, and I guess when you do that, it puts the Enterprise very close in, because every Star Trek series, people are like, it has to have an Enterprise somehow, even though Voyager did, and they always want to have an Enterprise in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of Star Trek, you know, so that was an interesting idea.
At some point when you're watching the show long enough, it just does feel like a character in itself.
Yeah, unless you're one of those people who thinks the ship is called the Star Trek. I always found that little Pat Stewart joke really funny. The next one we did was a really short one. I don't know why it was so short, but it was. I want to kind of expand on it. Was one about the economy of the future, the New World economy.
Yeah. Talking about money and stuff like that sometimes can get a little bit boring because, I mean, I'm not an economist, and I just, and when you're talking about an economy that doesn't exist yet and will, I mean, how do you explain it?
Yeah, I just remember we kind of ended up talking a lot about now, like how we have 3D printing and the beginnings of post-scarcity and kind of relating it to that. Because the New World economy in Star Trek is so sketchy.
It is.
We don't really know what change of priority happened. We speculated, but they didn't really go deep into that. But the next one that really got me, and it broke our record for the longest, was the almost 4 hour episode about romance in Star Trek. Where
we went through different characters, right?
Right, and in the end, we ended up going to this long thing about Keiko and O'Brien.
Yeah.
Poor Miles O'Brien.
We had a lot to say about that.
They got a new Deep Space Nine documentary out, What You Leave Behind, and Cole Meany's going to be interviewed in it, and I'm wondering if they're going to address the O'Brien must suffer thing. Because if he's not being brainwashed by some alien prison system or tortured by Cardassians or being thrown back in time, he's in some marital disarray with Keiko.
I wonder if it was done deliberately, like the luck of the Irish or something. It's like
maybe. I mean, that would seem kind of racist in a way, I suppose. But I mean, maybe Cole Meany had the idea that O'Brien would be the kind of whipping boy of the show, and that it would make you empathize with his character.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really did when he lost Molly that time. That I felt bad about. I even felt bad with Keiko during that, where normally I didn't defend her much, but and I've learned later that she's not exactly, let's say, a fan favorite either.
Yeah, she's almost as bad as Seska there.
Yep, she's pretty close to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remote Keiko. I mean, because honestly, sometimes it's like, oh boy, it's almost like a romantic comedy in a way. Whereas Seska's like, just make her quiet, like the Tac or something. Please make her quiet,
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that was a fun one to do. The next one, it was an issue where I was uncomfortable doing it at first, but you did a good job of convincing me why we should do it. And the idea was the Star Trek fandom a cult? And that was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Because the jury's still out on that one. We didn't really come to a decisive, absolute answer, did we?
Not really, but it's something that I've heard a lot said about that through my life, watching Star Trek from different people and TV shows and stuff, and they always seem to label that as like a cult following.
Yeah, I guess maybe my reservation with that was that we talked recently about Star Trek fans being condemned and having to have guards up about that, but the thing about, I think most Star Trek fans have their little guards up, but I think with the Star Trek fan cult thing, I think because fan cult isn't like Jim Jones or anything, it isn't like you're poisoning Kool-Aid. But people hear the word cult and they're like, oh, there we people make these weird signs, and I mean, even Gene Roddenberry addressed that.
Yeah.
Like, what is some secret handshake? They go in and they have rituals. I mean, it isn't like that, but people.
Yeah, and I was saying that we've defined the word cult as being something negative, but the word cult really.
Right, that was the whole framework of it, because you had to convince me at first.
Yeah.
Because I had a negative impression when you said cult. I'm like, that sounds like you drink poison Kool-Aid or something. It just sounds nasty. But
it's understandable because of the times we live in. You hear the word cult, and geez, all the worst images come to mind.
Now, I haven't watched it in a while. I think it may have had some audio problems. But the next one that I found kind of interesting, right? Actually, the next one. Now, we're at episode 16 here already. Okay, so we're quite a ways into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't really checked the date on these things, but I think that that was probably I don't remember when it was. I mean, I should probably check the date of these things, but we did the one about, because we did it through the summer last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway,
it kind of started at the end of summer a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, these, if you notice nowadays, seasons aren't like they used to be of anything. If you watch a TV show, in the old days, you used to have a TV show kind of begin,
Yeah.
in the fall. their season, and then they'd end around April. You'd have that summer lull with reruns, and they'd come back. Unless the show started in mid-year, which is like January.
Yeah.
Voyager and Deep Space Nine started mid-year.
Yeah.
So they had a weird, like half a first season, if you remember.
Yeah.
But the episode 16 we did was Star Trek at 52, and the subject was, is Star Trek still needed anymore? Now, I think around that time, we were starting to deal with Discovery coming on and the changes that were happening in Star Trek at that time, and wondering if the whole thing of Star Trek representing a positive future was actually needed. And again, another open-ended conversation. We never really came to an exact conclusion about that.
And the thing back then when we did that episode, the thing we were complaining about was the movies, the J.J. Abrams movies. You know, and we didn't really have anything yet.
Yeah, was Discovery even out yet when we did that, or was it?
I don't know.
Or was it during its first season?
It might have been. Of course, we're not subscribers to CBS All Access, so it might have been on. We just weren't watching it. But
yeah. So by the way, you know what? If we haven't mentioned Discovery a lot, it's because we're getting it a little late. So just let you know. I mean, we're TrekPrime, so just saying. You know, we reference it once in a while, but it's still a moot point. You know. But as far as the future of Star Trek, we'll get into that a little bit at the end because we get an interesting wrinkle coming in that might be affecting us during the second season. But you know, we'll get into that after. The next one we did that really interested me was the talk of the two pilots. Now, I'm not sure. Maybe there was more one before that, but wasn't Star Trek one of the first TV shows that got two pilots?
I think it was at the time, yeah.
Because they never really ordered a second pilot, but apparently something impressed somebody enough. They wanted to give Star Trek another chance.
Yeah.
They replaced Captain Pike with James R. Kirk.
James R. Kirk, yeah.
Then they replaced him with James T. Kirk.
Yeah.
I mean,
so actually you could say they had three pilots because they
right. Because they had that James R. Kirk, that twin brother of James T. Kirk, who was in the first one. You could say that there were twins, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe James R. Kirk lived longer than James T. Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention that, I mean, it's funny because we only seen that he had a brother in one episode, and wasn't it William Shatner that was playing him? He had that they just put a mustache or something on him or something.
Yeah, it was Shatner with a little mustache.
Yeah, so it was like a twin brother.
So maybe he's like a triplet.
Could be.
Maybe Sam was the mustache brother. Maybe from the Mirror Universe, because everybody in the Mirror Universe has a mustache. No, only Vulcans do. Only Mirror Universe Vulcans have mustaches. So maybe he was the mustache brother, and maybe there was James T. Kirk and James R. Kirk, who were the...
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, maybe there is a James R. Kirk, and he was just commander of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And also knew Spock. And Taylor's just like his brother, so...
Yeah.
Did we just basically figure out a new episode for season 2 here? Who is James R. Kirk? They didn't take that off of the pilot when they did this, the remaster.
That's true. I don't know why. I mean,
they could have gone right in there very easy. I could have done that.
Yeah, of all things.
That is so easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could do that on just regular paint shop.
Yeah. Anybody with a paint would did it. Take that, put the T, like the little Times Roman font in there. Easy. Yeah. But no, they kept the James R. Kirk thing in.
Yeah.
You wonder, huh?
I would like to know why they decided to change that middle initial for. What was the reason? I mean, nobody really cares about, what the R meant or what the T meant. They know it's Kirk, right? Captain Kirk. Yeah,
James Kirk. They didn't,
Why best mess with the middle name?
So now we have this mystery James R. Kirk who looks just like him, the command of the ship just like him, Spock just like him. But he's not the same guy. He's James R. Kirk.
Yeah.
Unless
I wonder if his season 3 was the same as James T. Kirk.
Maybe that was James R. Kirk.
Yeah, maybe that was the James R. Kirk.
Maybe James R. Kirk had a breakdown after that incident with Gary Mitchell and started acting all strange, and that's why he was on the ship.
Yeah,
we'll save that for a season 2 episode. That we can do a James R. Kirk speculation thing.
Yeah,
it's a goofy thing, Shatner has birthday. So the next one we did was a character study of Khan. Khan in Space Seed versus the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Which is the beginning of an idea you had that you wanted to cover movies, like the original Trek movies.
That's right.
And we did all of them, didn't we? The motion picture up through Nemesis.
That's right.
And, I remember back in that infamous, and I do say infamous, Get a Life speech that Shatner made, one of the in-jokes in there that I actually did find a little witty was where one of the fans said, should we pay more attention to the movies? Because I always felt like the Star Trek movies didn't get, at least in their time, didn't get quite the reverence in the long term that the show had had.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays they are, but people are like, okay, the movies come, we talk about it, it goes away.
Yeah.
Or Star Trek 5 comes along, and we hope it goes away, but it hasn't. I mean, people are still talking about Shatner and his crazy directing in that over and over again. So even the dot of the bunch can't go away.
The other part of that problem was that the fans only seem to like the even-numbered.
Yeah, they always say that. And even you admitted, and this might have gotten the ear of a lot of fans. I didn't really look at the comment section. You were like, you know what, Wrath of Khan is a little overrated.
I think it is. I mean,
the Star Trek fandom, that they picked that movie out as like every Star Trek movie should be that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I ever saw as a movie. It wasn't even a bad Star Trek movie, but it wasn't the absolute grail.
I think what sold that movie was Ricardo Montalban. I mean, if they had
no character they knew from the old show.
Yeah, if they'd have had somebody else playing Khan, I don't think that movie would have done as well.
You mean like JJ did?
Yeah. Because I think, him being in that with his personality and the way he's a very good actor at the time. And, I just think that he really sold that movie.
Yeah. And, I mean, just the memeability of those lines now, I mean, people love their memes. There's so many Khan memes.
Yeah. God,
I mean, like I said, I mean, just the whole, all the guy had to say was, it's very cold in space. And you got the first meme right there.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban, you invented the first meme before memes were ever a thing. Now if Ricardo Montalban were on, he'd be the king of the internet, I swear.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching some old episodes of Fantasy Island, and I'm thinking, you know what? If they'd have had somebody else playing him in that role, that show would have died right off the bat. He's got that way of doing things, like just
he's got a personality that really nobody else really has.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost get the impression that like, oh, Mr. Rourke, we need a Ricardo Montalban type. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it seemed like it was written for a guy like that.
Yeah. I mean, that guy? Remember they tried to bring it back, and they had the guy that was in
Star Trek. The Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, they tried to have him play. It did not work.
Yeah. He's not right for that. He's a little too uppity. You need Montalban, who always seems to be in control without really being in control.
Yeah.
Unless wires are falling all over him and the ship is flying through things, and that's out of his control. That's just the ship being crazy. Another idea for season 2, we should do a thing on what's with the Miranda class.
Yeah.
They're blowing up or blowing up in the wrong places. They got problems,
That ship was so weak.
Yeah, they're either blowing up. They got plagues on those ships. They're having night terrors, or they hit the engineering section. Some other part of the ship explodes. Geesh.
Yeah.
They kept them around forever, but they had a lot of issues.
There's a lot of chain reactions to just one thing.
Yeah, they're like the what is it called? Back in the days of the ICBM, they're kind of like the Atlas missile. Remember that missile they put Mercury on and have blowing up on the?
Oh yes.
They're like the Atlas missile of Star Trek. Boom, boom, boom. They're always blowing up,
and the funny thing is every time they use that model, they always seem to use it where it's going to get destroyed. The ship, every time you see it. I mean,
why didn't they just build 20 miles of that ship and say, "Oh, wait, boom, blow that up, boom, blow that up," blowing up that ship? You should just get AMT models made up real nice and say, "Okay, this one's going to be a boom, boom. This one's going to be going to keep this one."
How many of those things did they lose in the Dominion War, for God's sake? I mean,
they were just cannon fodder. I mean, it's like, what is that ship? Are they kamikaze ships or something? I mean, geez, we got to look into that. The uniform one was interesting because, it's funny. You look at a lot of militaries and they kind of keep the same uniform for 50 years, 60 years. Yeah. With Star Trek universe, each new series, they were always changing it, and it's
like they got a huge, fashion department in Starfleet.
Right. Like I said, during the next generation years, there were all these different transitions.
Yeah.
And it's in that 6-year period, there were all these different changes, and that was where it got weird.
Yeah, imagine trying to keep up with that.
I'm assuming the TOS uniforms lasted about 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, a good time.
We know those red ones with the pins lasted a long time. I mean, they even went into the 24th century, those pin ones.
That's right.
Those motion picture ones, I don't know, maybe they were 10 years or so. I don't know. They had their longevity. But that first season Next Generation one, that was maybe 5 or 6 years. Then they went to the turtleneck.
Yeah, there was subtle changes.
Yeah, then to the other one where it was kind of black on the bottom.
Yeah.
Then they changed the insignia. Then they had that gray one on the top.
Yeah.
It just kept going into this messed up place. So it's always changing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, one of the ones that I don't think we came to a conclusion to, and I thought it was kind of fun because it was really close to Christmas, was our holiday one.
Mm.
Because we never found out why they don't celebrate a lot of holidays in Star Trek, but it was kind of fun to do. This was around Thanksgiving we did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did Star Trek V after that, remember?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, so we did that one. The animated one was funny because we were trying to figure out if that was actually canon or not.
Yeah, I know. It's a debate that fans will always...
And it's still going on, you know, because now they're putting these new animated series on, which are not going to be anything like the original. Like, who knows? But it just... So, discussing the original one, it was just like, that was just one of those interesting things that we were having a hard time putting into the canon.
Yeah.
But one suggestion that I thought was really interesting, and I'm glad we did it, was we actually decided not to focus on an episode or a movie, but on the 25th anniversary special.
Yeah.
And that's because they've had anniversary specials, but the 25th anniversary had just a little something extra special to it, didn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, they sent LeVar Burton to space camp, and...
Yeah, of all the anniversaries, I think the 25th was the best that, you know, Star Trek had at the time.
And there was all that hoopla, wasn't there? They had these conventions, they had all these special episodes, and...
Yeah.
You know, it was a big deal, you know? It was like... if you go to stores, you'll still find used 25th anniversary merchandise all over.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, the 30th, meh. 40th, meh. 50th? I mean, 50th went by like a...
Yeah.
I mean, 20th was a big deal, too.
Yeah.
But 25th is like, you get all this stuff out. You know, it was like, this big deal for 25th.
Yeah.
They had all this stuff. They had The Next Generation. Didn't they announce Deep Space Nine that year, too?
I think so, yes.
Anyway, so there was a new one coming out. We had Star Trek 6. Star Trek 6, they hyped that.
Oh, God, yeah.
They hyped that movie so much, so...
Yeah, that was a big anniversary for that one.
Yeah, one idea that you actually had, and it was a significant one because it was right in the middle of this whole Discovery fiasco again. I'm going to go back to another one after this, but this was about Gene Roddenberry and how his idea philosophically would apply to Star Trek Day. We actually mentioned Discovery in that one.
Yeah.
Now, had we seen that when we did that? I think I've seen it. Or did you see? I don't remember. But
I think you saw some of the episodes before I did.
We had a little bit of issue, if I recall, with each other, both kind of wondering if it was a good or a bad thing, because I don't know if they're still really hanging on Discovery being canonized. We were still debating whether it could be remotely canon at that time. And we were thinking, is Gene Roddenberry's vision present in what they're doing now? And again, you said it's kind of an ongoing thing, that's a question that we're still trying to deal with right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I guess at the time was like, weren't people still trying to figure out if they could canonize it somehow with the regular shows? And I think, we had that going on, and plus, how much different it is from the Star Trek we know, so there was like two things going on with it. Discovery that a lot of people have been discussing online about back and forth on Twitter and Facebook, I imagine.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
The next one I really enjoyed doing was for Women's History Month.
Yep.
Which was March, was Women of Star Trek. That was a very good discussion and pertinent for now because, there's been an interest in making, the writing on Star Trek now and the characters more, friendly toward accurate representation of women. And we did that. The next one we did was a suggestion we both was Section 31. I remember for a time they were going to make a Section 31 series. I don't know if they're going to do that anymore, but
I don't know. I heard something about.
Because somebody had made some remark to you that they didn't do Section 31 right, and you're like, well, who cares?
They didn't do it right, and it's in the Discovery universe, and they didn't do it right. Who cares?
That was the whole thing. Like, why was that even there in Deep Space Nine?
Yeah.
So we had to do this thing about Section 31, which is interesting because it actually pointed out flaws and like you're building Section 31 up.
Yeah. When
they were like basically the Seska of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
One interesting one we did, which kind of related to that, and I noticed we did a lot of these implicitly, was conflict resolution in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which kind of relates to how in the current incarnations they're constantly blowing things up, and in the old ones they were more like, let's have a diplomatic mission, or let's try to talk this out or something.
Yeah.
Before we fire phasers, that sort of thing. Would you say that's an ongoing thing, kind of too?
It is, because it depends on the kind of Trek fan you are, to discuss that. So yeah, I mean, through life, it's like hard. I mean, because the Trek fans are just as diverse as people that aren't into Star Trek. I mean, you've got such a wide spectrum of what people like and don't like about Star Trek in the fandom.
Yeah, I know what you mean, for sure.
Yeah.
The next episode we did was actually an idea of yours that I found very interesting, and we started out with 3 characters and ended up with about, it was like 5. It was Thomas Riker, Scotty, and I believe it was Dax, wasn't it?
Yep, Dax. Yeah.
But it ended up also being about Tasha Yar and Kes, and it was character arcs and sort of that weren't well resolved.
Yeah, people weren't really well ended.
Because first of all, again, I always felt, even when I saw it, when I saw the Skin of Evil, I'm like, oh yeah, as I didn't know all the details, I said, oh yeah, well, it's a temporary thing. Tasha will be back. I'm like, oh, they had a funeral? She's dead?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that was my first TV death.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's gonna be gone?
I didn't even know at the time she was actually leaving the show. So
no, I didn't either. Of course, I was 8.
Yeah.
But I thought, and here's what it's like, oh, she's one of my favorite characters. Why are they getting rid of her? It's like, so, you just was weird. Now, with Scotty, they didn't really kill him off. They just kind of went away.
Yeah, like, goodbye, get out of here.
Thomas Riker, they just kind of put him in a prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And with Jadzia Dax, she literally got and possessed Golducat's way.
Yeah. Get out of my way. Kill you.
Right. And I mean, it's like, we've known you for 6 years, and, I mean, with that, I mean, I was like, ooh,
I mean, the fans of that
did not do that.
The fans of that character, I mean, there's, because everyone's got their favorite.
Because we knew Jadzia from 6 years. It wasn't like she was a brand new character.
I mean, I know that people were so mad about how that was handled, that loved that character. I mean, oh my God. And
then with Kes, they got rid of her for a bad reason. Then they bought her back in a trash can lid. A big, dirty, ugly trash can lid. And I'm like, well, don't bring her back then.
Yeah.
I mean, for all things, you bought back who the same way. Why didn't you bring back Kes the same way?
Yeah.
I mean, but no, instead you turned Kes into like this evil witch.
Yeah. And it just didn't make any sense. The story just didn't hold water. I mean, it just...
Yeah, and then made the story up that, oh, well, yeah, sometimes, innocence breeds cynicism. And like, really?
Mm.
No, that wasn't what happened. You just didn't know how to write the character in the first place, and you didn't know how to write her again, period.
Yeah.
So it was just, yeah. The next one...
It's like they deliberately tried to add more sand.
Yeah, it was like salting the wound. It really was.
They wanted to get rid of her for once and for all.
I just wouldn't friggin' have had her come back. I would have just said, okay, she's gone, character arc over, end of story.
Yeah.
Now, the next one, I'm disappointed in it for a reason that I feel maybe a little bit petty, and it's the favorite Star Trek scientific ideas. So far, it's only gotten 3 views. So it makes me wonder if our thing about conflict resolution was right. Are Star Trek fans super focused on weapons and violence?
Well, look at the props they make for fans to play with.
Well, I mean, they make tricorders too, but...
Yeah, but it's always like the phaser that they want, the tricorder is like the other item, but, the phaser is the first thing they always buy.
Well, and also, again, with the uniforms, you go to any convention, they have those giant naval-looking ones with the pins all over them.
Yeah.
The most militaristic-looking ones. People seem to like the military-looking aspect of Star Trek, so...
Yeah, like I said, the spectrum of fans it's very diverse. I mean, some
and
fans...
I hate to say it's leaning very far toward the martial-oriented ones right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who are getting the most kind of, attention with that. The next episode we did, which, I was noticing that, kind of in the last ones we were doing, we were having a hard time getting views for some reason, which is something I want to remedy in the second season in some way. Was TrekPrime, was a time travel thing. We talked about the time travel episodes, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. One I'm hoping it gets better views in the future is one about parallel Earths. I think that was probably my idea. And another one, I think was your idea, was the next one, episode 47, was the idea of people having possessions in the Star Trek world.
Yeah.
Like the lawyer Samuel Cogley's obsession with having all these books.
Yeah.
The one after that was Janeway and Kate Mulgrew for Kate Mulgrew's birthday. That did very well. And the last one we did up until this point was about Enterprise. The series Enterprise, that is. And here we are. So that's season 1. Universal Translator, beginning. Enterprise, the last.
Yeah.
So
and,
now,
you know, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you can see that our show in that year kind of evolved as it went along. You know, it changed, got better. You know.
Yeah, we started out discussing very kind of esoteric subjects that were kind of specific, and then started going into more philosophical ones.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. For season 2, do you want to kind of discuss plans for it just over the line and privately, or are there any ideas of just general things, not specific subjects, but general ideas you want to kind of do in season 2?
Well, I was actually wanted to do like little shorts through the summer.
Oh, like the mini-sodes we talked about.
Yeah, you know, through the hiatus, you know.
You mean just like maybe special models we have or something, or just little ideas?
Kind of like an advertisement for the season 2 or something, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, I keep thinking of the little Discovery shorts they did last year.
Yeah, that. I don't know what that was.
I mean, I know it's TrekPrime here, but I'm just saying that, I mean, we never had TNG shorts.
No, they didn't, and it wasn't needed.
I'm just thinking about that. Could you imagine that during the summer, if we were watching some rerun some night, it was really hot, and we said, okay, ABC brings you a TNG minute. Like, yeah, Picard's ordering his Earl Grey, and it comes out wrong. He puts it back in. The end.
Yeah.
They chases Spot around the room. The end. I mean, could you imagine if they did things that way? They just had little shorts.
The fans would have been like, "Huh? You know, what is this?" You know, it wouldn't make sense then, and it don't make any sense now why they did it.
Or if DS9 did weird ones like, okay, we have a DS9 summer minute. Rom picking his ears. Some crazy thing like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I mean, that's just a weird idea, these little shorts, just because you have a streaming service. I just find that weird to have the little shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Calypso one was apparently relevant, but if you need shorts...
It doesn't seem like that whatever they gave us a short of is not even going to be part of anything that they're doing.
I think they're just outtakes they didn't know what to do with, so they just made them into those little shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but with what we're doing, though, the shorts might be relevant more to what we're doing. Because, I mean, we're not going to do shorts where we're sitting there playing with little ships or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I just, you know, but we could do shorts that might lead into subjects we could do in the next season. That would be kind of, like, once in a while, just post them up, you know, at our leisure.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about wanting to try that out anyway, to do a short every, you know, because remember you used to tell me about that a while back, you know, about wanting to do something like that.
But maybe like a monthly thing, you know.
Yeah, I like to see, you know, I mean, if it draws more people to watch, because you said people like to watch the 15 minutes or something.
Well, yeah, you know, I think people's attention span, because a lot of the Trek Yards videos and the videos I watch are in the 12-minute to 30. But I don't like to really pander to short attention spans. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to do that when we're having a discussion about something to try to keep it down to 15 minutes. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it would take forever for me to go in and edit these things. Okay, we got 2-hour conversations. Let's edit it down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you take out, you know?
It's not going to happen.
No, if you got 2 hours, you know, the shortest going to get is like an hour.
Yeah.
The shortest going to get. So editing, you know, isn't always the answer. You know, you got to do things. One hope I have for season 2 is, and it's not that I'm against Zoom or anything, is to have something we can use to put backgrounds in.
Yeah, like where the black is around us.
Well, oh yeah, I'll do it like Trek Yards are doing, where they have like us in a corner and then have a place we can put stuff in.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I wanted to, because we actually did something in the first season that you came up with for the uniform one. You showed it on the iPad.
Oh yeah.
Because we really, maybe it'd be kind of nice if we do that one with a more professional look someday.
Yeah, we can go back on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, not that the iPad was bad, but you know, I mean, I wanted to do the Universal Translator one eventually, because I remember you were trying to move to get into the photographic space, like you said, so it just seemed a little weird, having that. And I was even like, okay, where do I move? And we're sitting in the same room, so yeah, it's just easier to have us in little Brady Bunch boxes like this, But and again, another goal, and I'm going to say this because I hope you're watching. I want to bring Stuart and hopefully Samuel back into this, and that's why I want a new thing that will allow us to have longer podcasts with more than 2 people.
Yeah,
it'll be really Brady Bunch box if we get both of them, won't it?
Well, yeah, I mean,
they'll be down here, we'll be up there.
So basically, we're going to try to find something other than Zoom.
Yeah, well, I mean, being summer, we'll probably be out doing different things, of course, but it's kind of a side priority. But I got people helping to help us, so I'm not really worried about that. People are trying to help us with that, so Stuart is.
We went with Skype, but Skype didn't have an option in there like we have.
Yeah, there's a way to do it, but I got to, because Skype will let you do more things, but I got to figure out how to go in because there's a Skype recorder that Stuart let me use, but I don't know how to use it quite right yet. Because he uses it for Let's Plays. Like, if he plays Star Trek Online, and he can use it for Let's Plays, but, And by the way, no, I'm not planning on doing Let's Play videos. Thank you very much. I don't know if you play Star Trek Online.
Is that where people actually watch you play a game?
Yeah, not my forte. Just me.
I was watching. Okay, now I just stumbled onto this by accident, but I was going online, and I stumbled onto these people playing a Star Trek game live, and they were all from different parts of the world, and they all had avatars on a spaceship.
Yeah, that's kind of what Stuart was doing with his Let's Play.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, look, I mean, these people were talking back and forth, and the characters were moving as they were talking and stuff. I was like, this is like a puppet show, like these people are controlling their characters.
Yeah, I think it'd be cooler if you kind of tried to make that into an actual Star Trek thing, like.
Yeah.
Instead of just character dialogue.
Yeah.
But, if you did that, maybe CBS would try to yank it or something,
Yeah, who knows? I mean,
and one thing I'm hoping that emerges before season 2, because I'd love to do a review on it, because yes, I consider it part of canon. I would love to be able to watch some of the Axanar stuff and talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I fit that right in the canon. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I would love to talk about how they did Axanar, but we may not. I don't know if we'll get that this year. I'm hoping we get one of the Axanar things, but
yeah. I don't know how far along they've come with that. If they are actually finished any part of it, I don't know. I mean, because I keep getting these updates, and it doesn't really tell you anything about what's going on. It just says, "Oh, talk to this person."
Since we last did it, I just wanted to throw this in there because I don't know what this is going to be yet. I don't know if there's going to be a way for me to see it at any point. If they're going to put it up anywhere, somewhere, it's kind of up in the air. We have the announcement of the Star Trek, as it's being called, Picard series. Now, I know it's already being lumped in with Discovery, as I'm sure you've heard it called New Picard and U Picard. But, I mean, suppose this show locks right in with canon Star Trek.
I'm just gonna hold my opinion about that until I actually see it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. We don't know what it is. We've seen a trailer.
Yeah.
But I would love for that to kind of be in canon, have some way to see it, and comment on it. I would love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to have it be within the canon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pointing that way, but I would love to see it be that thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have Jonathan Frakes is going to direct a couple episodes here, I guess.
And they brought in the whole Romulus thing, so
yeah,
that fits in with what we know about what happened in the Prime canon universe, whatever. Yeah. And I'm hoping, and we did a thing on this in one of our podcasts, I'm hoping all these Star Trek YouTube conspiracies calm down. I mean,
yeah, really, guys. I mean, enough with the Discovery bashing, okay? Because we already know why you don't like it.
Yeah, and not Discovery bashing, but just trying to make up a Star Trek equivalent of alternative facts where you have speculation and you're trying to make it into facts.
Yeah.
If you're going to come with something, come with the facts. I mean
some of the people on YouTube, they do multiple videos, like 10-minute videos, and it's all on the same thing.
So right now, we talk about that where somebody picks out a little element they don't like and they make a bunch of videos on it. And I'm gonna say this: we don't do diss videos on here. We're not going to diss specific people. We're just saying in general. A number of people we've looked at, be more general with your Star Trek stuff and don't just pick one little thing and make that a beef.
I mean, I understand some of the people are doing this because they're making money off of it. But
yeah, that's true because they're monetized or whatever.
So, honestly, try to think of other things to talk about that other than the same thing. Because
Star Trek universe is a very vast place. Pick out little points, pick out things. And yeah, we're not really here to be uppity about it. If there's something we inspire you to do, pick something we didn't fly with it. Do your own version of that. But, stop with this conspiracy theorizing, because we don't know what's going on inside CBS. We get there's problems with it. Let's just let it be there.
Yeah.
We know Discovery may not look right or whatever, but if you don't know why it doesn't look right, don't pretend you do.
Yeah.
That's just our little goodwill lesson for the summer,
And if you think CBS cares about what you think, they don't.
So they care more about action
by now.
They care more about action and that's what the series where they're actually trying to do something different. But But anyway, is there anything else you wanted to say about this particular season of it, or just TrekPrime in general?
No, I just wanted to, wind up this season here, basically.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'm glad we did it. I mean, you and I have known each other for a very long time, and this is like the, okay, big word coming, the apotheosis of everything we've been trying to do.
Yeah.
I seem to remember back when we met in '96, we were discussing something like this in this kind of a roundtable panel thing.
Yeah.
But it was, at that time, it was like, when we really want to get there wearing uniforms on cable access in hopes somebody would call in, I'm just thinking if we did TrekPrime on cable access, because I don't know if you remember how cable access used to be.
Yeah.
We get some person calling in saying, oh, have you got any stickers? You got any potato chips? Get any beer? Is marijuana there? All these dumb frat boy nonsense you get on cable. I mean, you might be trying to say super serious things, and idiots call up with just crap calls.
Yeah, that's
I hate to have like little college frat boys call up with nonsense about the show. So in a way, I'm glad we can control the comments here. Because, I mean, of course, there's frat boy comments in YouTube, of course. But, you can't control who calls you up. I'd hate to be like, okay, next question. I hate to hear TrekPrime on. But could you imagine if we'd done this on cable access back in the day and we were like putting phones down?
Well, we'd have to have a call screener,
Yeah, maybe some guy in a red shirt.
Yeah, really.
Like the red shirt character doing the phone. So I just had that funny thought in my mind, like, what would be like on cable access if we did it then? So it's a good thing we did it on YouTube. I mean, I'm glad the format is where we can do it, because if we did it then, it would have been cable access.
Yeah.
And cable access was like something you watch on a rainy Saturday afternoon when nothing else was happening.
Yeah.
And you were a voyeur of whatever crap show was put on. But yeah, so I'm glad we did it now, because this is kind of the epitome of a dream we had. And I'm glad that we were able to realize this dream. And, even though we've had our setbacks along the way, both in the past and recently, I got to say, I'm glad there's a strong commitment to this, because, with all this stuff in this, all things end, this Discovery thing, all this controversy now, it'll all transmute itself. And when the fans figure out what they want to do, we'll still have this content over here.
Yeah.
They can come back to it. I mean, and look at Deep Space Nine. I mean, we've had our issues with it, but there was a time where that was the black sheep of Star Trek.
It was, yeah.
And now everybody's like, oh, that's the best one. I don't think it's the best one. I'm just saying that people actually are like overdressing. But maybe we gave it a bad rap. It wasn't critical assessment. They kind of wanted something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm
something even worse to make people appreciate what was there, what they had, or something, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think we're dealing with that now, because now there's so much indecision what Star Trek is. But anyway, we're not setting any dates or anything, but we're in episode 50. And as far as episode 51 is concerned, hello season 2, whenever that is. So until then, we take our leave of you. But we'll return. As LeVar Burton might say, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.